What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing Ravens content every single day. If you want to stay daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. Now, in this video today, I'm going to be talking about the best Baltimore Ravens draft picks in the day 3, in the 4th round, in the 5th round that they should be targeting. I've already come out with 2 videos today. This is the 3rd and I'm assuming final one before the draft starts. If you guys have a video you guys want me to do and I'm awake, I can try and get one out by 11 a.m. if you guys comment different ideas. But the first video was talking about a day 2 draft analysis, talking about the Ravens picks, the Ravens unwillingness to trade up and try and get another 3rd round pick or another 2nd round pick. And then, the second video I put out was talking about the best day 3 wide receivers for the Baltimore Ravens to take. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the best players outside of wide receiver the Ravens could be looking at. Now, guys, I'm putting out so many videos over this draft weekend. I'm putting out a video reaction to every single Baltimore Ravens draft pick. So please, guys, stay tuned for all of those. There's going to be 7 of them today. If the Ravens actually make 7 picks, there will be one for every single player. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm having so much fun doing this, guys. I apologize if I'm talking a little bit quietly. I'm recording this at about 1:30 in the morning my time. I'm going to be up in a few hours so then I can, get ready for this draft. But guys, let me know what you guys are thinking. Are there any players that you feel like I missed? Hey, this guy would be a great sleeper. That's something that's very valuable to me, seeing who you guys want the Ravens to go after. I've known about every single player the Ravens have drafted. They've been guys that I've profiled, guys that I've talked about significantly, and man, I hope that continues because there are some guys that I really like in this day 3. So, starting off, I feel like cornerback is the way to start. There's a couple of cornerbacks that I really like right here. The first 2 of which are very similar players. Great size, great speed, small school players. Tariq Woolen, Zion McCullum. Both physical, big, fast cornerbacks. I'll talk about Tariq Woolen first. I've talked about him before. He's a press cornerback. That's what the Baltimore Ravens like to do. He wants to get physical with you, and he wants to go out there and absolutely dominate you from the line of scrimmage. All right, now, one difficult thing for him will be coming from his, lower end conference over to the NFL, but that's why we get to have him work behind Marcus Peters, get to have him work behind Marlon Humphrey, Amon Marshall. The Ravens haven't been shy when it comes to drafting players, but in experience playing in the secondary. Look at Brandon Stevens. Tariq Woolen can come in and learn underneath the best in the business and be a part of maybe one of the best secondaries in NFL history. Yeah, I said it. Same thing with Zion McCullum. Just an unbelievable athlete. He's coming from a smaller conference, coming from Sam Houston. So he's going to be someone that's going to be difficult for him right away. However, he is a ball hawk, and he can get up in your face and make sure you can't get by him. All right? So both of those players I think would be incredible picks. Honestly, I would love if we drafted both of them, because they're both the exact type of players the Ravens really want. Physical, big, fast players. And they can both learn and work behind, some of the best in the business. If they want to work on trying to get picks, they work with Marcus Peters. If they want to work on trying to play that football, use their athleticism, keep your body between yourself, the ball, and the wide receiver, and then hit that arm, they work with Marlon Humphrey. This secondary is going to be built very well. Well, let's get a couple of young guys in there that can work with Amon Marshall and, the other players they have at the back end of that roster to really help create a good depth in a very important position. Now, the final guy that I'm going to talk about, we've talked about him a billion times, honestly. It's Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL last year. He's got good size as well. If you haven't noticed, I like size in a wide receiver, especially when we have to play against Jamar Chase and Chase Claypool and now George Pickens in Pittsburgh. There's a lot of big bodies. So we need big corners. Kobe Bryant is a big corner. He's not the most athletic guy. He ran about a 4.5 40-yard dash. He's not unathletic, but he's not a guy like a Zion McCullum or a Tariq Woolen. But he is good enough. He is good enough with the athleticism. But what he is, he's smart. All right. He's very smart. He's able to make plays on the football. But again, he's also coming from, a lower end conference. However, he did make it to the college football playoff, and he did play extremely well against Alabama. Sauce and Kobe Bryant were incredible in that game, and Alabama was really forced into running the football because they were afraid to throw. Alabama. Do you know what wide receivers they had? They had a lot of great wide receivers. They had John Mechie. They had Jameson Williams. They weren't throwing the football. They were too scared because of how great those cornerbacks were. Kobe Bryant, I think, would be a really solid pick, if you're looking at it from the cornerback perspective. I love Tariq Woolen. I love Zion McCullum. I love Kobe Bryant. Those will all be phenomenal picks for the Ravens to make in the third round. There's some other players as well. Getting into the linebackers, I think Brandon Smith, a freak athlete out of Penn State. We've seen, the Ravens go with freak athletes out of Penn State before. The last couple that have been drafted into the NFL have done very well. Micah Parsons, Odafe Owe. Brandon Smith played with both of those guys. He's just a very, very fluid athlete that has a little bit of experience. However, guys, he gets to sit behind Mike McDonald. He would get to sit behind Zachary Orr, and he would be able to work with them and become one of the best young linebackers in the NFL potentially. But at the beginning, he would be able to be a very good contributor on special teams, be able to work out as a gunner potentially, and just make sure that he's able to make plays, make big tackles, because he's not too inexperienced to not be able to play whatsoever in those spots. But I think he's definitely a guy to keep your eye out on. There are some potential players at the offensive line spot. Obviously, the biggest name is Daniel Falele. He's a guy who is absolutely massive. And I think in the fourth round, in the fifth round, I think there is value in taking him. Yes, he is a little bit raw of a prospect. However, we can take him to be a backup. We could take him to be a backup and then take over Morgan Moses' job in 3 years. For a fourth round pick when we have 6 of them, I think that's a little bit of value right there. We can work with him, make sure he gets up to, the level that we feel like he needs to be at. But I think that he would definitely be a player that I am completely all right with taking. I know a lot of people don't love him, but I think he would be decent enough for where I feel like the Baltimore Ravens could end up taking him. Then we could look at it, and I feel like the Ravens, they could go with edge. I don't think they really should, but there are a couple of guys they could go, at the edge spot. I think the biggest name, is maybe Kingsley Enagbare, Tyreek Smith, Isaiah Thomas. I'm not in love with any of those players if they went with them. It's okay. I'm not going to be hating on it. I'm not going to be loving it. But one player I want to bring up, guys. One player. Very controversial for me to say this. Matt Araiza. If you don't know who Matt Araiza is, he is the greatest prospect in the history of football at his position. What position is that? Punter. A lot of people may be familiar with a man named Sam Cook. He's been the Baltimore Ravens punter for 100 years, it seems like. However, I feel like his punting has definitely decreased in the last couple of seasons. I feel like the Ravens need to get better in that area. However, the benefit, Sam Cook is one of the greatest place kicker holders in the history of football. Very undervalued, across, fan bases and things like that. But, guys, I think it's time for a new punter. And the Baltimore Ravens pride themselves on special teams. Araiza is unbelievable. I think this is where we should go with our 5th round pick. This is the guy we need to take. Take the best punter prospect of all time. Make sure that no one else can get him in the undrafted free agent market. Because, believe me, every team will want to bring him in. And honestly, even if the Ravens bring him in for a 5th round pick and they don't keep him on the roster, what have the Ravens done with special teams players that they play in the preseason? They've traded him for great picks. Great picks. We turned one into Calais Campbell. We did all right with that. All right, so the Baltimore Ravens, I think, should take him in the 5th round. But, that's the special teams player. There's one other guy. If you guys don't know, I believe the best tight end in this draft class. Yeah, not value-wise, not, for his size, not for his team. No, the best tight end, the guy that people will look back in 5 years and say, how the heck did this guy fall, is Mr. Jalen Whittermeyer. Now I can answer the question, why did he fall? He ran a terrible 40-yard dash. He was also coming off of an injury. He ran the 40-yard dash injured. which is why he's falling so far. This guy's a pure pass catcher. He's a route runner. He can go up and make catches. He is a playmaker with the ball in his hands, and he's a willing blocker. If the Baltimore Ravens need that third tight end, Whittemire would be the perfect guy to go after. I've talked about him a lot. I talk about him all the time, but, I'll bring up also Chigo Okonkwo, also out of Maryland, another player to potentially look at. But I like Whittemire. They could go with Chigo as well. I think both would be really solid picks. But that's kind of it. Those are the guys that I really like. A couple of corners, a linebacker, a punter, and a couple of tight ends. Also, an offensive tackle. Guys, who do you want the Ravens to draft today? Do you want me to make another video today? I can try. I can already tell. I'm starting to lose my voice. But guys, thank you so much for all the support. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. And I will see all of you again later today with the first pick reaction. Thank you guys. See all of you again.